On to Comet Lucifer, episode 5, Souls Come Together. This is a weird one. It picks up right after Ophelia is kidnapped by Gus and his crew, and Shogo's trying to save her after running into Mora, who screams and hollers like he usually does. And they figure out, oh, we can track her by using the gem that I put on her conveniently last week. I guess he planned ahead.
Well, I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, me too. So
I mean,
yeah.
For me, this was the do or die episode. Like, we had the past 2 episodes where, like, they're kind of fun, but, like, the plot stopped moving, and these characters aren't that great that I can just handle them just sitting around bullshitting. And, I mean, the stories hasn't made sense, and I was like, okay, if this episode isn't, like, good or doesn't wow me in some way, like, I'm just not going to be hot on this show anymore. But it's like,
right.
I do think that this episode of Comet Lucifer did pull it off, and it got my interest back. There was enough surprises to say, I wonder what they're going to do with that. There was a few good fight scenes. There was just a bunch of interesting stuff where it's like, no, I think that this episode was handled well, and it does re-spark my interest in Comet Lucifer going forward.
Right, I mean, I think as far as, the Meta Norton team goes, I know Skyline and Highway are not very high in the show at all. They
Can't blame them.
think it's the worst thing of the season. Not my words, their words. Just saying.
Well, they are wrong because Heavy Object is also airing.
Yeah, I mean, they think, well, I don't know if you guys are watching RAAA, but they think that is better than this. And I was like, I don't.
That, so I don't know.
As if I would watch that trash.
Well, I mean, I'm watching it, but I don't think Lucifer is that bad. But for me, I like these kind of shows, these kind of adventure type shows that start off very slow, and then there's more to the story, like you said, as they go along. There's stuff you discover and all that. This is how they get there. I mean, if they explained the very beginning what Ophelia was, it probably wouldn't be as interesting if they told us what she was immediately. But anyway, the episode it's obviously, like I said, Shogo is trying to save Ophelia, and they come across Gus, who's in this weird, like, giant mobile tank thing base he's got, which is kind of weird. I'm like, well, if they used a jet, he would have got away faster. So I guess using this ground thing he's using is a way for Shogo to get there in time.
Well, don't forget, there was not only was there a hurricane, there's also a blizzard.
That's true.
They can't fly away.
Right, that's true.
It was a very weird typhoon.
Yeah, it was.
That part annoyed the heck out of me.
Even the weather aside, which is like, well, I mean, they call it a typhoon, but like no buildings were damaged, like there wasn't any flooding. It's like,
don't they have like three or four different moons or something like that? We saw it in one of the episodes.
They're also not on planet Earth.
Right,
so
they're a different.
It's a different thing.
I'm sorry, it's still bad. Okay, it's lazy, and what's so bad is that the categorizing method for typhoons is actually called the Japanese. It was made by the Japanese. You guys should know how to categorize a typhoon.
Right.
So I don't know. It irked me because what happened was that it was raining, and I was like, oh well, it's a very calm typhoon. So first I was gonna get in on that, but then when the eye catch happened, and then the next scene came on, and all of a sudden it's Kaon coming out of this house like she's calm and like it's just another day.
Right.
And Roman is there, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is it snowing? Was this a flashback? I thought it was a flashback that just boom, happened out of nowhere.
And who uses an umbrella when it's snowing? I mean, really?
Japanese people.
Yeah, I've seen that in all the anime. I've seen that.
Yeah, they use.
I know, you see it in anime, you don't see it in real life. Is the point?
I would imagine they'd do it in real life too.
I've seen a lot,
Eventually,
I've friends who use a lot of umbrellas for a lot of things. So
eventually, that snow's gonna melt, so and you get wet, and so it kind of makes sense people would use an umbrella for that. But yeah, the weather aside, that was kind of weird, like you said. But the weather aside, we had I guess I forgot the guy's name, Alfred, kind of doing his creeper thing on
that guy.
Celia.
Kill him! Someone kill him!
Right. I mean, like I said before, even his team doesn't really like him. So I don't see him lasting very long on this team.
Well, to me, it was like, you guys know what he is. At least Gush should know what he is.
Right.
Why the heck would you leave this little girl with this guy to have access to her? And then just like, oh, where'd you go?
I figured he was gonna like
done unspeakable things to this poor girl, and you guys were like, oh.
Well, I figured he was gonna like kidnap her and take her off that carrier thing because Gus wants to give her back to someone else, and that that guy's very protective over her. So it's like I'm surprised he's going along with this plan just to give Felia away. I'm like I was surprised he wasn't just gonna take her for himself and like sneak off.
That was just
Yeah,
so
it's like-
creepy. Like,
yeah, it was.
you're going to be with me forever. And I'm like, ew, ew,
and he was,
ew.
and he was trying to feed her. I was like, what the?
And he's like, no, you scarred me permanently. Look at this bald spot on my head.
Because
I'll
my hair
never
can't.
be the attractive
Exactly.
shonen I was meant to be.
And like I said, he was trying to feed her. It was kind of creepy and all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I don't think anyone likes him. Not even his team. They could care less about him. But even we had Puck or Pack, what do you want to call him? He was,
Pac.
for a guy who can kill people simple, like real fast. It's like he sort of take his time, fighting Shogo. I'm like, he could end this guy in like 2 seconds if he wanted to.
That was something I didn't get either because it felt so disjointed
Yeah,
with
it
the
did.
character.
Yeah.
Like when you see him in the beginning, he's like the bored kind who just wants to get stuff done, and he has a small attention span. But then later on, when Sogo tries to get on the ship, I was actually pretty impressed that he not only knew that Sogo was gonna try to get on the ship, but he knew exactly where he was gonna come on.
And
not
remember,
just
they were
wait
shooting
for
at him when he was riding on his like hover scooter. Like they saw him coming. They saw him on his hover scooter riding towards the ship.
And Gus
Well,
didn't
yeah,
do
but this is like one boy who's on the middle of like a wasteland,
yeah.
and you have your one ship, and you probably have like 18 entrances to that one ship. So he knew like exactly where he was gonna come on, and was not only ready for him, but had backup.
Right.
And then imprisons him, which was really smart. And not only that, but he pretty much beats the crap out of Sogo. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. He should be like not only unconscious, he should be like in a coma by the time he was done with him.
Yeah.
Like he literally like went overboard.
Yeah, because like I said before, in episode 1 or 2, we saw Pac just kind of go nuts on these people and kill them in the blink of an eye. But with Sogo, he's kind of like, I'm just gonna punch you. It's like.
Well, it was a little bit more than that. That's why I was like,
kick you and
for a
all
normal
this.
person, that normal person would have died.
And then later gets a giant robot and still doesn't kill Sogo. I'm like, oh
that
my
was when he
god.
turned stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. You have
Yeah.
all these abilities. We've seen you do all this stuff. You see how fast you are. And now all of a sudden one boy who can't fight really well
Don't fight at
and
all.
is constantly just yelling after this girl.
Yeah.
Like that's the only thing he can say
And then
is
yeah.
keeping you on your toes.
And then when he actually get out of the little prison cell, whatever the locker he shoved him in, he was screaming for Felia, and I was like, didn't she call from the same hallway? It's like 3 stories above him. Like, how did he hear her? I'm like, what? That makes no sense. But anyway, I thought it was weird. But I was thinking the same thing. Like, why doesn't Gus have like extra henchmen to patrol the area? It's like he just has him, Puck, and the other creepy kid. It's like that's it.
Well, I
on
mean, you
this big
see
tank?
that they have other soldiers, but it's
Right.
like, where are they
Yeah,
half the time?
That's true. I'm like, I guess they're just doing other jobs. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. I'm like, don't they have people that can actually, watch this jail cells or whatever?
I guess not. They thought a lock would be good enough.
Right. But anyway,
Okay,
I
let's
guess.
move on to some of the better stuff in this episode.
Right. I was gonna talk about this part here where you mentioned about you have the astronomy council versus
Oh,
the
yeah.
military. I guess there are 2 different groups that want failure for different reasons. I mean, I'm not really sure what the astronomy guys what their goal is. They pop up. I'm just like kind of ignore it. I'm like, what is this? I don't understand what's going on with them.
I don't know. It's like the astronomy, like the head astronomy council, whatever guy. He's like the one who seems to know everything, and so he's the one who gave the whole myth in the very beginning. And so he's the only one we have to get like answers from. The military seems to be working with them,
Right.
and they said they were supposed to be on the same page, so they probably know something too, but they're like going about it in different ways, I guess.
I'd probably go out on a limb and say that the military obviously probably wants a weapon from her. She could be used probably as a weapon, especially with Mora, where you can transform and infiltrate bases. They probably want him for that, and her for the psychic powers. The council probably want her from some kind of magic mojo thing, probably for there's some kind of prophecy, I bet. I bet that's what they want. Because usually, I mean, in most anime or most movies, military don't usually invest in supernatural. They want a weapon or something. Or at least not my point of view.
I mean, I heard all that they said, but I really don't care because
Yeah.
it's too vague, and I'll care at a later date. When they've actually like spelled out what they're doing, that's when I'm gonna care. Until now, it's like I'm not that upset that I don't know what's going on in this show. Cause
What do you guys think of the Gus versus Mora round 2 fight? I mean,
well,
it was kind of cool. He has a new robot. I mean, that was nice.
the fact that one of Gus's lines is "Make me climax"
Yeah, that was. Yep, that was.
is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Gus clear like.
He's a battle hungry guy.
I really don't think any of the guys who are shown to be Sogo's enemies are all that bright.
No.
Like Gus, all he really wants a good fight. That's all he wants. And if he can climax during the fight, all the better.
I mean, yeah, he didn't really care about a lot of things.
He doesn't really care about failure, and he doesn't.
Right.
This is why he doesn't really care about Alfred. He's like, if this is gonna let me fight somebody else, I'm cool with that. I don't care if I have to kidnap a toddler.
Right.
Or whatever, or however old Ophelia is at the beginning of this episode.
I was kind of confused.
I don't care if I'm working for some evil organization that may or may not be trying to control the world.
Right. Yeah, I was confused.
I get to fight in a giant robot. That's all I need. And you know what? I respect that.
Well, I mean, I was confused when he fights more when he more evolves, which is not a very big spoiler. But I mean, he changes to in a new form, and Gus is confused who this is. I'm like, he just fought this guy. The same color scheme, same design. That no one's talking inside the robot. It's the same thing you just fought. So it's like he's confused. Like, who's this new challenger? I'm like, you just fought him like 10 minutes ago.
Well, I think he realizes that because I think his biggest thing is that now he doesn't want to just fight anybody. He wants to fight that one mech because that's the one that he couldn't beat. In the beginning, the first episode. So he basically is just on this trek in order to fight that one robot.
Right.
Or mech.
And I did like more
organic mech thing.
The second Mora form is pretty good. It's more.
It does settle like we were wondering like earlier in the show. It's like, so who's that other like robot with wings? It's like, oh, that's Mora's final form apparently.
I bet he probably has another form inside somewhere.
Yeah,
well, not his final form,
it also coincides with Felia's final form.
Right, I mean, which is
because after she has been she's brought out onto the deck of the ship. Like Pac is holding on to her, like he's trying to hand her off to whoever their superiors are. And then she starts glowing in like this ball of energy.
Right.
She literally like flies up into the sky, then suddenly like more transforms into like it looks a lot like what Lucifer would look like if Lucifer was a giant robot.
Well, I don't know. It looks kind of chunky.
It has a freaking angel halo. It's got wings. Like if that's not obvious imagery, I don't know what is.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got that like from the OP. I'm actually interested. Like, I'm guessing that when Felia later says that she used too much of her power, I'm guessing that like her power was in terms of giving the like basically giving
let's just say at the end of the episode Felia matures into a teenager magically. She is no longer the fragmented sentence 6-year-old.
She's not Chaika no more.
Yeah, she's not Chaika. She's now a human well, not human. She's now a teenage girl, which means love triangle, here we come.
Right, which is one of my notes down there. I mean, I was like, I don't want that to happen, but they're totally setting it up. I know they're gonna do that. That's just how these stories play out. And they're gonna do the whole thing. That, Felia will get even older, and he'll get younger, and then go away, and like, oh no, I can't.
I don't think he can get younger.
Happening.
No, I meant like she's gonna get older, and he's gonna stay the same right now he is now.
I really don't.
She'll just go away at the end.
I really don't think that's happening because that would make the romance angle hard to play, Fosh.
No, I mean, I mean that they get these characters, close to each other. Oh, I like you and all this, and then she evolves again, and she's like,
it could be
older, right, way older than him, and maybe she, ages rapidly. But yeah, that thing aside, it was kind of weird. I mean, but it fits the show. For me, I'm like, well, Mora just evolved to a new form, so Felia and her and Mora are connected somehow, so I could see it, that being possible.
I guess they like power up together because when I first saw Mora in like his new form, I thought like, did she like merge with him to make that new form?
I thought too.
Like, that'd be pretty sweet. It's like so Felia and Mora are like the same creature or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still have no idea what the mechanics are, but clearly teenage Felia or the older Felia is understands like her situation. Like she
Right.
thanks Sogo for all his help, and she's like, she's clearly she has all the memories, and now like she can actually process them like a teenager would. She's like, man, don't you remember when I was a little kid and I was acting like a brat? I remember it like it was yesterday.
Right. Well, that's my whole thing. I hope now that she can kind of, think for herself now, maybe she can actually explain what's going on. We'll get some easy answers, but I'm like,
I would
I
really
doubt
like
it.
that actually
Yeah.
if like we could just figure out what the hell the actual plot of the show is.
Right. I mean, I think that's what we'll probably get maybe next week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the midway point, so we'll be getting some answers.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this episode before you close up on this one?
Well, that was kind of basically what I was trying to say was that I think that the power that came from Felia was what ended up giving more of the power. If they say that that's why it happens, I'll forgive them for the very weird weather.
Right. I mean,
oh my god,
the
show is actually about global warming. It all makes sense.
No, the show's actually about, it's the Japanese version of Captain Planet.
Oh no!
So, I mean, we're doing that. She's Gaia. So we're going to learn about all the weather and stuff like that. Or maybe she's Storm from the X-Men.
We only have 3.
Yeah. That's who she
well,
is. She's
including Otto.
She's Storm from the X-Men in different anime. But yeah, that is a good theory. I like that one. That the weather